Hey guys, what's up? It's Rygar the Destroyer, and today we're going to be taking a look at Spartan Gungnir from the Spartan Collection. Now, as always, if you like this video and want to see more, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It's free, and it really helps out the channel. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this guy's packaging. Here it is. As you can see, it's pretty standard for the Spartan Collection. Nice big window here on the front to show off the figure. When you flip it around onto the back, you can see an image of the figure here, as well as the other figures that were released in this wave. Overall, pretty standard stuff. So let's go ahead and get back to the figure itself here. Now this guy stands at about 6 3/4 inches tall. So he's right in scale with all of your other Spartan Collection figures, and he comes with a ton of accessories. The first one here is already on the figure, and that is his kind of removable blast shield thing. When you take it off, you can kind of look underneath the helmet, which is pretty cool. And then whenever you snap it back on, you pretty much can't tell that it's two pieces. So that's pretty well done. I like that quite a bit. Up next are his guns. The first one here is this pistol. As you can see here, it is nicely detailed and painted. There's a little peg hole on there, and you can use this little piece here on the side, which basically is removable. You pull it out and you flip it around the other direction, and it hides the peg hole. And then you can just plug the pistol here onto his hip. There's also one of these on his back for any of the other weapons that you want to store on the figure. His other weapon is the rocket launcher. And again, this is very nicely detailed and painted. It is made of a very soft rubber, so that makes posing fairly easy. You know, you can kind of bend it to get it into his hands. One thing I will say is that the actual well for his hand isn't quite big enough. As you can see, it's really hard to actually fit a hand on there. And I actually had to heat it up with a hairdryer to get it to fit on here. That's why I left the gripping hand on the rocket launcher. The figure does come with 2 of these on the figure in the packaging though. The rest of his accessories are all hands. As you can see here, it comes with 2 kind of loose grip hands. I've got one on the figure and one off the figure. 2 fist hands, the 2 kind of loosely gripping hands like I showed before. And then finally, he does come with one of these kind of trigger hands or loose grip hands here. So a ton of accessories for a figure at this price point, I feel like, and fairly well done accessories as well. As far as articulation is concerned, he's got a ball peg in the top of his head and a hinge at the neck, which gives him a decent range of motion. You can't really get the figure to look up, but in all other directions, it's pretty decent there. There are shoulder swivels or shoot, I can't remember what these are called. I guess they're just a shoulder swivel joint there. Not a ton of range of motion there, but enough to help get into some extra poses. There is a ball joint on top of that does swivel 360. Then there is a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. Pretty nice range of motion there, especially for a character with such bulky forearms. And then hinged wrists with a swivel. I will say that the hinges are in the wrong direction. They run this way through the hand, and obviously you want it to be vertical for any figure that's holding a weapon. I think that makes posing a little bit easier. Although I will say these hinges don't necessarily impair posability or anything. There is what I think is a joint here at the torso, but it's completely frozen shut basically by the sculpt. However, there is a swivel at the waist. You don't get a ton of range of motion out of that, but enough to get the job done. It is unfortunate though that you don't get any articulation up at this joint, especially since they took the time to sculpt a joint and put one in there, but it just doesn't actually function. At the hips, he does have T-joints, decent range of motion out to the side on those, and excellent range coming forward. Not really any range of motion going backwards. There is a thigh swivel here, which is very nicely hidden and works quite well. Then he's got double jointed knees, excellent range of motion there. Although I will say when you've actually got it sort of posed, it does kind of make an ugly joint. It's not the worst thing in the world. You can definitely hide it when you're posing, but just be aware of that. There is a hinge at the ankle with an ankle rocker and then a toe hinge. And on this figure, both of them are nice and tight, which is good for posing. So Overall, I'm pretty happy with this figure. You know, there are some minor problems with the articulation, you know, some minor ones with one of the accessories, but I think the biggest problem that I have with the figure is one that I don't think really shows up that well on camera, but when you have it in hand, in person, it does kind of stick out like a sore thumb, and that is the difference between the painted orange and the molded orange. So the majority of the figure is molded in the orange color, but there are a couple sections which are painted here on the helmet and here on the backs of the hands. Both of these are different from each other, and both of them are different from the molded armor. It is unfortunate. I mean, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it is something that when you hold the figure and you pose it, you definitely notice because it is pretty dramatic overall. I feel like at this price point and with this many accessories, I am willing to overlook that. But seeing how they've improved the quality control on these figures, you know, I was hoping to kind of avoid problems like this. So hopefully when the next wave comes out, they have resolved, you know, even more of these quality control problems, because other than you know, these small problems with these figures, they're really, really well done. And I think that they're some of the best Halo figures that have come out probably in the past, you know, 5 or 6 years. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you later.